Unmeasured is not a traditional tutorial. It's more like a micro course in versatility. This is meant to be a confidence builder and idea booster. This is shooting from the hip baking at its finest. If fast-paced videos that get directly to the point are what you're after, then you best keep on scrolling. However, if you want insight, tips, and whimsical storytelling from Amanda, the owner of Do What Desserts, a food truck and bakery with decades of experience, then you're in the right place.
Hello everyone. I've been cooking for 2 days straight. The food truck was out Friday night at a foodie fair and it is out all day today. So I had to do all the cooking for the truck. I am tired of cooking, but I want some dessert that I would eat. My friend gave me this really cool cookbook called Crumbs, Cookies and Sweets from Around the World. It has over 300 recipes and the person collected them like family kind of traditional recipes. It's really cool. So I'm sick of making all the sweets that I don't want to eat, and I am craving cardamom, which is my favorite spice, and dates. And I have those on hand. So I went to the back of the book and I looked up dates. This recipe looks good. Since I've never done this recipe before, I'm gonna probably follow it pretty good until I get comfortable with it, and then I can start making more changes to it. So we are going to make date-filled bracelet cookies from Palestine today. Let's get rolling. I am going to learn as we go. So I gathered all the ingredients. It calls for anise. I knew I didn't have those seeds, but I thought I had extract, but I don't. So we won't use it. And I don't have semolina flour, but we'll just use bread flour instead. And I love lemon, so I'm going to add a little lemon zest to it. I think those are the only changes that we're going to be making to the recipe. Okay, so it says to take a small bowl and add the water and 1 tablespoon of white sugar. I didn't grab the tablespoon, but that looks like about a tablespoon. Teaspoon of instant or active yeast, which is funny because I just had this out a couple minutes ago. I keep it in the freezer. It helps it stay longer and stay active. I'm gonna add a little extra yeast just because, well, you know, it would stink if it didn't do what it was supposed to, and now it'll probably be too puffy, but it is what it is. And I am supposed to stir it together. I'm reading while I'm stirring, which is probably not a good idea, until the sugar dissolves and set it aside. The yeast still looks a little clumpy, so I'm going to whisk it. Okay, now it says in a large bowl, we're going to 1.5 cups of semolina flour and 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. We're just going to use bread flour for all of it. So what does that turn out to be? Almost 3 cups. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then the anise seeds, which I don't have. Cardamom. I do have cardamom seeds, but it's asking for the ground. So 1 teaspoon. Little extra. Sea salt. Ground cinnamon. Okay, this looks pretty easy. Now all we're supposed to do, I'm gonna give it a little stir, is add a stick of butter and 1/3 cup of oil, room temperature butter. I'll just use plain old vegetable oil. Now I'm supposed to mix this until it resembles couscous. Y'all, I am so tired. I wasn't used to baking like 12 hours a day, so it does take a pretty bad toll on my old body. The entrepreneurship has its benefits, but it also has its cons. So we've been in business less than a year, so I'm waiting on the breakthrough. But here comes summer, and summer is starting to really pick up. I had no idea how dead a food truck could be in the winter. I mean, we went like 3 months with barely any bookings. But we're filling up pretty quick for the summer, so I'm happy about that. So when my husband gets sick of going out on the truck, I'm going to have to remind him that we did have a few months where he barely went out. But he is so good with people that it'd be a shame for him not to do it. He's just super friendly, can make small talk. People love him. It's funny because a lot of the reviews on Yelp and Google are like, the husband is so great. Like, what about my food? Oh, the food's good too, but the husband was so friendly. All right, I'm going to get a pastry cutter because it'll make it quicker. All right, let's see if this works. My first job was something that I did on my own. I used to charge people to use the gumball machine when I was a kid. And then I did Easy Bake Oven. I went around the neighborhood and sold those nasty little cakes. And then I would load my brother's toys up in a little red wagon and take them around the neighborhood to sell them. Now, I did get in trouble for that. All right, it's starting to look like couscous. Keep flipping it over to be sure to get the bottoms and the sides. Then my friend Amy and I started a business called A&A Balloons, where we would walk up to, at the time, North Hills Mall was there. There was a toy store there that sold balloons. So we made all these flyers, put them around the neighborhood, and when we got an order, we would walk up to the mall, buy balloons. If it was hot outside, at least half of them would pop. Then we would dress up as a clown and deliver the balloons. We did that one summer, and then we were losing so many balloons that it didn't make sense for us to continue to do it. We were maybe 4th or 5th grade, so obviously we had to walk everywhere we went. All right, it looks like couscous. All right, now we're supposed to add this and pour yeast mixture in. That wasn't slowly, but... And then stir with a fork until it comes together and is smooth, kneading briefly. I got married really young, and I worked at night, and during the day I opened up a daycare business. So I did that during the day for extra money. And then I opened up a business where I would make food at home, obviously not licensed, not health inspected, none of that stuff. And I advertised by making flyers and sticking them on apartment community mailboxes and like lasagnas and stuff like that. If I got an order, I'd make those, and they would need to come pick it up because I was not driving. And then I dropped my night job and went to cosmetology school at night. All right, let me knead it a little bit. Okay, I need to make sure there are no dry pockets of flour remaining. Cover the dough with a clean tea towel while you make the filling. I'm trying to think of what my next entrepreneurial job was. I guess it was after I moved out of my first house. I started renting it out instead of selling it. So I became a landlord, and that was fun. And that was very sarcastic. I don't see any dough pockets in there. We're going to call that... What is that squeaking noise? I guess I'm really hitting the cabinet. Okay. Feels a little dry to me, but part of me wants to just throw some more olive oil in there, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Okay. Cover with the tea towel. I will cover it with the tea towel, but first I'm going to put this little plastic on it. These are so cheap. And I have been burnt with putting tea towels on something, and if it starts to rise, which I don't think this is really going to rise, but it'll hit the towel and stick to the towel, and it becomes a nightmare. So I'm going to do that, throw a towel on it, and I was just cooking over at the oven. It's kind of warm over there, so I'm going to throw this on top of the oven. This filling looks super easy to make. I'm going to be shocked if these cookies come out, considering they were so easy. Okay, so for the filling, we're going to need 10 ounces of pitted dates. I got these dates because I love eating them just right out of the bag. I got these at Costco or Sam's or one or the other. The Indian markets have dates, and they're normally cheaper there. Okay, so 10 ounces. This bag is 40. It says a food processor, but I don't feel like getting my food processor out, so I'm just going to use my smoothie maker and hope it works. I might have to do it in 2 batches. 2 teaspoons of vegetable oil. 1, 2. More cinnamon. A teaspoon of cinnamon. Maybe a little extra. And it only calls for a half a teaspoon of cardamom, but I'm going to put more in. And then I'm going to zest some lemon in there. Maybe a little more. So the next time I had my own business, I was in my early 20s and I was working for an adult entertainment company, and I was doing the bookings and all that kind of stuff, and saw how much money could be made in that business. So I decided to open up my own, and I did that. And I was doing it at night, and I was working during the day, and then saw that I was making enough money that I could afford to quit my day job and go to college. By this time, I was 25-ish. And so I was running my own company at night and on the weekends. And to be honest, between classes, that business was a pain in the patookus. It all depended on people. Oh my gosh, my car broke down. I can't make it. My whatever. And they don't realize that they're literally ruining somebody's birthday party or bachelor party or bachelorette party just because they didn't feel like working. So then I would end up driving people around, and my boyfriend at the time would end up driving people around. My brother ended up driving people around. Took a lot of work, but it was worth it because, like I said, it got me through college. All right, that looks good. I have a feeling it's going to be a little dry. Might have to add a little bit of vegetable oil to it, but let me go put my smoothie topper on and see how it looks after I pulse it. All right, I had a feeling that might be a little too much for the little smoothie maker, so I'm just going to take some of the bottom part out and hit it again. Next, it says to take the filling and divide it into 30 balls. So, I'm going to make it easier for myself because the sound of 30 balls is a bit scary to me because I don't know how big they're supposed to be. So if I can just think of 15 balls each, it'll make it easier for me. I'm going to take this scoop and see if it's a good size. I have no idea. Might have to make them bigger. So I graduated college and I sold my business, and I swore I was never gonna, other than being a landlord, go into business for myself again. I was looking forward to the paid health insurance, time off. You know, when you own your own business, you really can't step away. And actually, I am still a landlord because I have the B&Bs, but I was doing long-term rentals for a while, and I am not going to do long-term rentals again. I have so many horror stories from people burning me on long-term rentals. It's not even funny. At least with the B&Bs, I can get in there every couple days, clean it, make sure everything's in good working order. I've rented my house out and houses out and walked into some nasty nightmares. All right, and now that I don't have a corporate job and I'm just doing my own thing, I will tell you it is a bit scary because like I said, we came off a really slow winter. It'll pick up this summer, but I need the flexibility right now with my children. They're at ages where they need to be driven everywhere all the time. And it's just hard to do that with an 8-to-5 job. And, you know, if they need to go to the doctor or they need this or they need that, and it's just crazy town. So I figured I was going to pursue my dream now of bakery. And if it doesn't work out, I'll go back to the corporate world, but I'm hoping it does. I'm going to give it a few more months. They say it takes a while. I have no patience, but hopefully it'll pick up soon. Now I have a decision to make. All right, so I guess these are about twice the size they need to be. I think I'm just going to pinch a little tiny bit off of each. Make a few more. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but I got them rolled, washed my hands, I went and got the dough, and I got some flour. I got a pastry cutter, it might help, a knife would work just fine. And then I got a small rolling pin. I could use a regular rolling pin, but I don't have much space here. Or I could use a jar, cup, whatever, it doesn't matter. I just happen to have this. Okay, so technically I have 16, oops, supposed to have 30, but so I'm guessing I'll need, oh, it's nice and kind of warm. I guess I'll need 16 pieces of dough. And let's see how that's gonna work. It smells really good. And as I was rolling those, I was thinking they'd probably be delicious with some walnuts in them. Yum. If I make them again, I think I'll try them that way. They feel a bit crumbly, but maybe they'll turn out okay. Okay, so it says to lightly flour your surface, and then we're gonna roll these out into a rectangle, and then we're gonna fill them with the dough, and then roll them around to be like a circle, like a bracelet. I guess this is why they're called bracelet cookies. Let's see if that works. Okay, I got some water and I got a chopstick, thinking they may come in handy. All right, so let's get this, roll it out until it's almost as the length of the dough. Then we'll roll it up and over. With dough, to get dough to stick, sometimes it helps to wet it a little bit and then kind of just pinch it together. Make sure it's closed good, because that dough, that filling is going to slip out wherever it's not closed. Okay, fingers crossed that this works. Gently turn it. Then we will connect it. Let me get some more water. All right, let me try one more. See if I'm happy with that. That looks pretty good, actually. Maybe a little more wetness to keep it smooth. And I'm surprised it didn't say anything about slitting the top, because I would think as it cooks, you'd want a little of the filling to come out the top until, otherwise it'll get really hot and I think like burst out of here. But you know what? I could be wrong, and I'm going by a recipe. Okay, finishing this one will make me at the halfway point. And a couple of things I think I have figured out are, after I put the filling in, doesn't have to be a perfect rectangle. After I put the filling in, I run water along one side and then fold up the other side. And then kind of just roll it over like that, and that way it seals better. Okay, and then just kind of like roll it a little bit. Seals it even better, and it makes it longer. It distributes the filling a little bit more. And then turn it. Close the ends. Add some water. All right, last one. What I have found rolling these so far is that this dough dries out really fast. So I don't see how I could have possibly done 30 like the recipe called for. I know I'm not the quickest at this, but I imagine if I did 30 by the time I got to like number 20, the dough would be just completely dry. But so I'm glad we did how many we did and not 30. Okay. And then I found that I didn't really roll the filling out as long as I could have. So make it a little bit longer. Make sure it gets in all the cookie. Water, water. And then one more thing I figured out was that after I roll it like this, yeah, that dough is dry. Okay, after I roll it like this, get it a little longer, take the seam side and put that in the middle. That way there's no pressure on the seam from the outside and we don't have to worry about splits. I hope. We'll find out after we bake it though. Okay. Done, 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 done. It said to bake it in 425 degrees, which seems kind of high to me, but you know what? I'm learning today, so we'll pop it in and see how they go. Okay, these look delicious. I was thinking about cooking them until they were a little browner, but then I flipped them over and the bottoms look pretty done, so I'm just gonna leave them like this. Okay, here are my thoughts. I was thinking about this while they were cooking. I think next time I might add a little bit of rum extract. That sounds good. And maybe a little bit of candied orange along with those walnuts. Yeah, I don't know. But definitely I like this recipe. I mean, I like the way they turned out, so I'll keep playing with this recipe a few times to see what I like the best. And they don't seem too sweet based on what I put in there, which might be a good thing. Who knows? So I'm gonna let them cool off and then eat them because they look absolutely delicious. All right, if you want to see me make something, write it in the comments, and I hope y'all have a great day.